In this week's episode of Working with Evernote, I show you how to write your journal in Evernote. Hello and welcome to episode 89 of my Working with Evernote series. My name is Carl Pauline, and in this week's episode I wanted to show you, I'm answering a question that came up on my YouTube channel this week about what exactly do I put into my journal in Evernote. And I was looking around the internet and I discovered that actually very few people actually show you what they put into their journal, whether it's actually a written journal or whether it's some kind of other journal like Day One. Now, as you know, I recently did an episode on using Evernote as a journal, but I just went through the mechanics of it, how to set it up. So if you haven't already seen that video, I'll put a link in the notes section below so you can actually see that, so that you can get an idea of how I set it up and how I organize it. But what I really wanted to focus on today was to essentially just answer that question, which is, what exactly do I put into my journal? And as you know, journals are very, very personal things, so most of the time we like to keep whatever we write in there secret. But just for today, I'm actually going to write in my journal for the things that I've done. I think it was today or maybe yesterday. I'll decide as we go into Evernote. Anyway, before we do go into Evernote, I would just like to ask, if you like this video, please click on the like button below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe. Okay, let's get into Evernote and I'll show you how I write my journal. Okay, now the reason I use Evernote for my journaling, is simply because Evernote is with me wherever I go. It's on my home screen on my phone, it's on my laptop, desktop, and it's also on my iPad. So I am using my Evernote journal every single day. So it's just quite natural for me to quickly enter into Evernote and just start adding notes, random notes, as and when I move to the next, as I'm in a taxi or on a subway or anything like that. So anyway, the main reason for doing this particular episode is to show you what I actually put into my Evernote. Now, what I do is start off at the top with key events. Now, I actually have a key event. I did this on Thursday, but I'm going to say that I did a visit to the Apple Store, the new Apple Store in Seoul. So I'm going to put that as a key event because it's actually the first time I've ever visited an Apple Store. Now, one of the things that I like about using Evernote, and yeah, I know I can do this in Day One, so before anyone starts saying you can do this in Day One, I want to add an image of that particular event. So here we go, the Apple Store. This is the Apple Store in Seoul, and all I need to do is just resize it a little bit and then just leave it like that. So what happens is, in my view up here, I actually have the image comes up at the side. And as you can see with some previous entries, last Sunday, for example, I took my little boy for a walk, and there you go, he's there. I noticed I've got the dates wrong here, and I can go in there and modify that as and when. On Wednesday, I bought Gary Vaynerchuk's latest book, Crushing It, and again I put that into there. Last night I watched my favourite rugby team, Leeds Rhinos, playing. I put an image of me actually watching this in Korea, which is actually very hard. So you can see you put some fairly anything in there, because the beauty of keeping a journal is it's really, really quite random what you put in there. So that would be something that I put in key events. Notes is where I put the main body. So I could say, had a great start to my Saturday morning business English class. There were 12 students, double the amount last month. So something like that. They are very outgoing, and we had a fantastic time. Something like that. I can also write in other things that I might want to put in there. Whatever I particularly want to put in there, I can just add in, and basically that's just getting added to throughout the day as I have ideas or anything like that. Lessons. Now this is an interesting one. What I would do here is, let's just say I had lesson that I learned that don't go out in the freezing cold weather without a body warmer again. So that's something that I would put on there, because I didn't go out with my undercoat body warmer today, and boy was it cold. So there's something that I would put into lessons. Now, next actions is a very interesting one. The next actions, again, I don't usually create, I should say, a bullet point for this, but let's just say that join the business English class. In future, do a 30-minute segment on cultural differences. Maybe that's something that came up in the class and I could add it in there. I can add in other ones that as and when I came back, something like that. Now what I would do later then is, at the end of the week when I do my weekly review, I can go through that week, highlight these and copy them into my Todoist under my someday maybe function, unless it's a task that I want to add it to a particular project. Finally, we come to exercise. Now, let's say today I went out and ran 6 kilometers. So I just put in ran 6 km today. Felt good. The weather was cold, but refreshing. Something like that. And I keep a track of all my exercise that goes into there. And that's essentially what I keep in my journal. It varies on a day-to-day basis. It really does depend on my mood. And as you can probably see down here, the last entry before today, that one's an accident. I can delete that. But the last entry before today was Wednesday, and then I had a Friday one, and then I've got a Saturday one. So I don't actually journal every day. I wish I did, but I don't. But this is basically something that I actually keep in my Evernote, as I say, and I can keep refreshing it. Now, how do I set up the next day? So when I do my end of day review, my daily mini review, I will go into my templates, because I have a template set up. Go into templates. As you can see, I've got right up here up at the top, I've got my journal template. I actually use Text Expander. I did do a video on Text Expander a while ago, and I'll put a link in the notes section below to that. But I have a Text Expander snippet, so I can just type in comma JED. That brings up tomorrow's date, which is Sunday the 4th of February. I can type, actually I made a mistake there. We'll type in date. What I should do first, is copy this, duplicate the note, duplicated the note. Now I can type in comma JED, puts in tomorrow's date. All I need to do then is just, I actually put these in here. So I actually have a tag for February, so 2018, and it's February, Feb. For some reason it's disappeared. I don't know why I got a tag, but I do have a tag for that. And then templates I can remove. But first, before I remove the template tag, I actually move this into my journal, which is here. Double click that, goes into my journal, and then I can delete the templates, and that will then go into my journal for tomorrow, as you can see here. Sunday's set up, ready to go for tomorrow. I just find that's much easier to do than setting it up on my iPhone, although it is possible to do on my iPhone. Okay, so that answers the question, what do I put in my journal? Well, now you know. I actually put in key events, anything that special that might have happened that day. Notes is where I put all my thoughts and feelings and things like that. Lessons, things that I want to learn for the future, like don't go out in the freezing cold weather without a body warmer. Next actions are just things that I want to add into Todoist, and I can check that when I do my weekly review, or sometimes I check that when I do my daily mini review. And finally, I keep a track of my exercise goals, what I actually did exercise-wise, because that is very important to me. And at the bottom, I can add in any images or pictures from that particular day if I wish. Okay, hopefully that has answered the question. It just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week.